Wow. Jamie, everybody, hi. Wow. The title of my talk today is When the Shift Hits the Fan. Does that tell you anything about my week? I just finished my first CPR. How many of you have done CPR? How many of you just finished this time? What's the matter with this side over here? You got to do CPR. This side's cooking. I'm telling you, CPR kicked my booty. Oh my gosh. You know, it looks so simple on the outside. It looks really basic in 15 minutes, and it's like, okay, it's like, whatever. But I think it's because it's so compacted. It's so intense. It gives you so much. Reverend James gives us so much in that little time that we're all together, and there's like 400 of us this time. That's a lot of consciousness, a lot of energy, a lot of power behind the thought for the day. And so we're all going out there and working this stuff in our lives. And it amazes me what my body will do to get my attention. Anybody ever have that experience? And so there were a couple of questions which I'm going to share with you. And working through those questions, my body just grabbed the back of my head in a vice grip and would not let me go. Would not let me go. I think in the Bible, wrestling with the angels, who said, I will not let you go until you bless me. And I'm blessing it, and I'm loving it, and I'm hugging it, and it would not let me go. Would not let me go. Would not let me go. So, see, I chose this path. I chose these questions, and I chose to take the questions and go really deep with them. Why? Why would I want that? Because no matter how far we've come on our spiritual journey, and we're all on that journey, everybody on the planet's on the same journey. We're all going to the same peak of the same mountain, but we're at different places on the journey. And why do we want to choose these things for ourselves? Because there's more. There's always more. I don't care how far we've climbed, there's always more, and I want it. Anybody else want it? Yeah. I want it. So here's the first question. First question. Whose life are you living anyway? Whose life are you living? And as I looked at that, I noticed that there were a lot of times that I set my own life aside, my own dream, my own needs at the moment, my own desire at the moment, to fulfill somebody else's dreams and desires. I know you don't do that, but I've had that experience in my life. And so I was looking at that, and I'm not talking about serving from a place of love. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about more like when we say yes, and our gut is really saying, no. So then I find myself saying, sure, I'll babysit, instead of going to my friend's play on the last night, for which I already have tickets. And I'm fine with that. And the truth is I'm not. So I get to look at that. I get to look at the love within me that wants to serve, but who am I serving? If I can't serve this, if I can't serve my own soul, my own self, if we can't listen to our own hearts and serve that, then I'm not sure how fully we're going to be there to serve the other. You get where I'm going with this? So where does that come from? Denigrating my own needs and desires to serve somebody else, to make somebody else happy, or for somebody else's approval? Oops. There it is. There's that little sucker there. Will they love me if I say no? You know, I mean, really, I'm getting real with you here. And we all have that at some level. Some of you you're way past this, I know. But I'm still... My kids call me and they're in trouble, and I go, I'm here, you know, and that's cool. But I also want to be in balance. I also want to know that I'm coming from a place of strength and empowering my own heart and soul and needs and desires when I say yes. And then I can be there fully and enjoy. And the other times I can't. So in our Prosperity Plus class, which you can still join, it's only been 1 week. Tuesday will be the second week. In our Prosperity class, Deepak Chopra talks about the objective referral and self-referral, which is kind of what we're talking about. So in objective referral, we're getting our input from everything outside of us, you know, from the people and the situations and the circumstances and the conditions and all that kind of stuff. And object referral works on three things. It wants to control things. It has an intense need for approval. That's not my, I don't do that. Intense need for approval, and external power is the third thing. So external power is our titles. So if you're the CEO, you feel great about that. If you're, you know, the president of the company, the president of the bank, you're the principal at the school, you're the author, the painter, and that's awesome. But if that's where our power comes from, and that title goes away, then all of a sudden we don't know who we are. Because we thought that was our identity, and it's not. That's not real power. That kind of power, that kind of objective referral comes from fear. Some kind of fear. So self-referral is the opposite of that. Self-referral comes from the inside, from our own soul, and our own soul informs us, as Barbara was saying, it informs us about what is right for us in every moment if we will just listen and then pay attention to it and follow it. So these are the three things that self-referral operates from. It is immune to any criticism. Do you love that? So they tell you you're a piece of shit and your work's no good, and you go, oh well, oh well. I love that. You know, maybe somebody else will like it. Bye. The second one is it's unfearful of any challenge, any challenge. And the third one is it's beneath no one and above no one, because it knows that we're all oneself. We're all oneself. So I'm going to talk about Tom Shadyac, and I borrowed the title for the talk from him. And he said that scientists have proven that everything that exists now or ever all started from one single point of light or energy, whatever you want to call that point of light and energy, and all became us and all of it and everything everywhere. So we're all brothers and sisters. We're all connected at the source. And in truth, we're all this one thing. We're all part of this one light, this one energy. That's why when we meet somebody for the very first time, sometimes you feel like you've always known them. And there's this like instant rapport. Because the truth is that we have been together. We do know each other on a soul level. Absolutely. And so when we go beyond the masks of the ego and objective referral, we do know one another on a soul level, and we do connect soul level, and it's so powerful. It's so powerful. So Tom Shadyac is a brilliant Hollywood writer-director responsible for mega blockbusters like Ace Ventura, Liar Liar, Bruce Almighty, and also for the disaster sequel called Evan Almighty. I don't know anything about that, but that's what he said. And having been the darling of Hollywood, and as we all know how that can be in one moment, that suddenly all evaporated, and he became, not because of that, but because of other things, he became disenchanted with the whole industry and how it ran. He didn't like that the people on the top made mega millions, and the people who made it happen, who allowed it to happen, the people who were lugging the stuff and doing the sound and the lights and all that, got paid in comparison a pittance. He didn't like that. So he left his 17,000 square foot home, and somewhere in the middle of that he had a motorcycle accident, a near fatal motorcycle accident, and he was left with a brain injury, and it was called post-concussion syndrome, to which he couldn't stand any external stimulus at all. So he moved into a mobile home with blackout curtains, and he said he often slept in the closet. So that's a pretty big shift, wouldn't you say? Yes. And he said it knocked me from my head. He said from my head to my heart. He said when I realized I really might not make it, it took away the fear. And I found the courage to say to myself, if I want to say just one thing before I go, what would it be? What would it be? So over a period of time, he developed an inspirational movie called I Am, and a book. Someone wanted to applaud. I Am. I mean, what a title, right? It's beautiful. And a book that goes along with it. He said the drive for success, and then his healing began. He said the drive for success was gone, and he focused on what was important to his soul. And he said in his movie, he says, we can create a better world by working together. By working together. There's a young man in the Science of Mind, I didn't write this, but the Science of Mind magazine, that he was writing about bringing divergent groups together to create something, and it's all youth. This is all happening in youth around the world. The youth is going to shift us into this next transformation because they're not afraid. And they don't know there are any boundaries, so they just go for the whole thing, the whole Megillah, the whole ball of wax, the whole thing. So his dream, he's already done this in many, many countries, but his dream is to do it in Israel with Arabs and with Muslims and Jews, to bring together a collective of youth to create something fabulous for the arts. It would be focused on the arts, developing the arts of music and cinema and theater and whatever kind of art it may be. But he said it has to come from within a leader. A youth has to step up and be on fire to do this thing, and then it will happen. So you can hold that vision for the youth and for the transformation of all of us, that the world will change when we learn how to work together, when we find the things about us that are more similar instead of focusing on the things about us that are more different. And we're so much more similar than we are different. He said the one most important lesson I learned that was so important for him to keep moving forward, and this is important for all of us, is to let go of the attachment to the outcome. Yeah, he said, this is the lesson I have to keep relearning over and over again. Let go, let go, let go. So I'm going to invite you to say with me, it's easy for me to let go. Let's all say that. It's easy. Let's do a Southern easy. Really draw it out. It's easy for me to let go. See how that feels? Doesn't that feel good? Yeah, so we're letting go. We're letting go. So there was a guy in Joe Fortino's prosperity class who set for himself the goal of he wanted $1 million in the bank by the end of the 14-week class, because he said that's what it would take for him to feel safe and protected and comfortable in the world. That was his goal. Now, I know many of you already have it, but this man didn't. So that was his goal. But then as Joel and within the class began delving into his spiritual understanding, he said he knew that he was really always protected and safe and comfortable because God is all there is, and God always took care of him. So he had this paradox going on. He knew it on one hand, but then he wasn't, wanted this other thing. So by the time the 14 weeks were over, he had shifted his need or understanding. He'd moved into his heart space and was listening to his soul and began serving his soul, and said his dream was to be an educator and to create his own school. Well, he became on fire about this dream, this vision. It had been maybe cooking inside on the back burner for a very, very, very long time. And he began living it. You know, he began visioning it and dreaming it and eating it and breathing it. And he started talking to other people about it because he was so excited. And because of his vision and the heart and the passion and the truth that drove the vision, guess what? All the money showed up to start his school, and he had all the money he needed. It just kept rolling in and rolling in and rolling in because he got his priorities in the right order. He put self first, and by self, what do I mean? I mean, what did you come here to fulfill? What is the dream that only you can do, like nobody else ever in the world? What is that one thing? And I find it's often the thing that people always tell you that that's the thing that you're so good at. And because you were walked in the world with it, you just went, oh, that thing. We just kind of go, oh, that one. Nah, it can't be that. Because it's too easy. It's too easy because it's in our DNA. It's who we are. It's who we came here to be. And so we sometimes slip it aside, and we don't give it the value that it has for us. So that's what he did. So James Rouse is a naturopathic physician who writes for the Science magazine, and his articles are always just full of power and health and wholeness and freedom. And this is what he says. He says, define what makes you come alive, and then go for it. And he says it doesn't matter how much money you have, how old you are, what you weigh, what you've got in the bank, who you know. Just start. Just start. Claim it for yourself and take that first step into believing that you can have what you came here to be. You can. Somebody wrote, can you do it? Yes, you can. Yes, you can. Say, yes, I can. Yes, I can. One more time. Yes, I can. Of course you can. Of course you can. So here's the deal. So as I was going through this shift, shall we say, that was hitting the fan all over the place, my children came to me and said, Mom, we got this all planned. We are throwing you the biggest bash for your 80th birthday, which don't tell anybody. I'll be in April. Shh, tell Sol. We're renting a room. We're going to have catered dinner. You can invite all your friends. There'll be 40 or 50 people for dinner. We'll have music and dancing and all this. And I was so excited until I woke up the next morning and did CPR, and I sat with it. And I went, what's your dream? So my dream for my 80th birthday, and I've had this dream for about 20 years, but I've been speaking this dream for my 80th birthday. This my way to celebrate my 80th birthday is to go to New York. Now, I'm an actress. I know you don't know that. I'm an actress, and I've never been to New York. Gotta go. Gotta go. That's my dream. Broadway's my dream. So I already have an invitation. I already have somebody to go with in May. But as I was speaking with Marilyn Miller, I told my kids, I'm crying. I'm like, how can I do this? Because I don't want to hurt their feelings. And will they love me anymore? I don't know. And all this stuff. But I had to tell them that my dream for my birthday was not this monster bash, which I would love. But that's not my dream. My dream is New York. I've wanted New York for 20 years. I've wanted New York. And this party's going to cost a lot of money. And New York's really expensive. You get the picture? So Marilyn Miller says, you want a smaller party and bigger envelopes. Yeah. I'm going, but I want that play money to play in New York. I want to go to Broadway. I want to see all the plays. I want to go all the great places. So this is what I wrote. I did tell them, God bless them, and they didn't. They still love me. They still love me. They still love me. And I wrote on the blog, I spoke my truth today, and nobody died. So we have a lot of examples right here at NoHo. Jonathan Zenz followed his dream. Patrick and and whatever your name is, Rita. I'm so high up, I don't even know my name. They're sailing off to Hawaii, you know. When is it our time? When is it my time? When is it your time to live your dream? And what are we waiting for? Whose permission are we waiting for to live our dream? Nobody can give it to you but you. Nobody can give me my permission but me, and I'm taking it. I'm taking it. So this is what I wrote. So I just came to this. I'm so thrilled about being 80. I've been telling everybody. I'm so excited. It's like the beginning of life for me again. I don't know. It's like this crazy. I don't know what's happening. But anyway, it is. But then through CPR, this freight train came along and mowed me down and said, 10 years after 80, you'll be 90. If 80 felt like heaven, 90 felt like hell. And I wrote after sobbing it all out and shit hitting the fan, I wrote, I've got 10 good years to live my dream, and God damn it, I'm going to live it. So guys, here's the deal. Take these two questions that look so simple. Whose life are you living? Really? Whose life are you living? And if you cast your own movie, what role did you cast yourself in? James says if you don't like some of the characters in your movie, fire them. And then recast yourself in the starring role. So that's what I'm doing. So I want you to take those two questions, if you're willing, and take them deep into your heart and find your answers. Yours will be different than mine. But be true to your own heart, to your own soul, and live that dream. Live that dream. So are you willing to do that? Yes. Okay, so in the midst of this shift hitting the fan, I wrote this epic poem, which I will not bore you with. Thank God. But you do have to suffer through the last stanza. And this is what it is. When I find myself alone midst the rabble grown so loud, and my voice cannot be heard for the roaring of the crowd, still my song will not be silenced. Not here and not now, I will stand. I will stand. I will fulfill my purpose. Thy will is my command. With joy and laughter ringing, this song of freedom I'm singing, I will stand. Today I will not fall, I will stand. And when the shift hits the fan, I will stand. We will stand. We stand. Namaste. Thank you.